Hi everyone, welcome to practice number 3, binary counting LEDs. Mm, in this project, we are connecting 8 LEDs that are converted to the Pico. These LEDs count up in binary from 0 to 255, and it has 1 second delay between each count. The aim of this project is to show how a group of port pins can be combined and accessed as a parallel port. We we are using 8 LEDs as well as 8 resistors of 330 ohms. That are the current limiting resistors. Um, all 8 GPIO ports using this project are configured as outputs using the function configure port. Notice that the configure port function is general and the list dir sets the directions of the GPIO pins, and O sets as an output and I sets as an input. Then a loop is formed to execute forever, and inside this loop the LEDs count up by 1 in binary. The variable CNT, that is short for count, is used as the counter. Function port output is used to control the LEDs. This function can take the integer numbers from 0 to 255, and it converts the input number x into binary using the built-in function bin. Then the leading 0b characters are removed from the output string b. Bin function inserts character 0b to the beginning of the converted string, and then the converted string b is made up 8 characters by inserting leading 0s. The string is then sent to the port bit by bit, starting from the most significant bit position. So let's break down the code. And we're using the same from machine import pin. This over here is just for making the code a little bit shorter, and as well we're using the same import ultim as the previous projects. Here are the port connections. We are using the GPIO 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, being 0 the less significant bit and 7 the most significant. And well, this is the function that configures the port pins as outputs or as inputs. So if this is true, the name of the function is configure port, as I mentioned before. We're using a for cycle, and it's arranged from 0 to 8. If the direction equals 0, then the port is going to be an output. If this isn't true, then it's going to make it as an input, and it's going to return. This over here is the function that sends 8-bit data 0 to 255 to the port. The name of the function is port output, as I mentioned before. It has a parameter of x. So in short, this is going to convert into binary. B equals bin x, as I mentioned before. This is going to remove the leading 0b from the string, and this is going to find the length, and well, finally it's going to insert the leading os, as it says here. Then we have the for in range of 0 to 8. If b equals 1, then the let is going to be 1. Else is going to be 0, and it's going to return. This is to configure port to all outputs. This is the name of the function configure port that I mentioned before. And this is the main program loop. This is going to count up in binary every second, and it's going to reset every time it gets to 255. Well, every time it gets past 255. I'm going to explain it in a bit. So we have this variable here. It's in short for count. So in this case, count equals 0 because we need it to be 0 for the first case. Then it's going to, we're using the while true. So if this is true, the port output, we're using the parameter count. this is going to send the parameter count to the port, and then it's going to wait 1 second, and then it's going to increment the count. Here we can increment this to have bigger wait time for each time the LEDs are counting. We're using 1 second, so it's a binary count, as simple as possible. Here is going to increment the count, so count equals count plus 1. So in the first time it's going to be 0, then it's going to be 0 plus 1, so it's going to be 1. And it's going to repeat this over and over again. And if the count is bigger than 255, then it's going to put the count back to 0. And that's everything. I think it's pretty simple. Thank you so much for watching this video. See you in the next one.
Hi everyone, welcome to project number 3, binary counting LEDs. In this project we are using 8 LEDs that are connected to the Pico. The LEDs count up in binary from 0 to 255, and well, it's 1 second delay between each count. And well, the aim of this project is to show how a group of pins can be combined and accessed as parallel port. We're using 8 LEDs and a Raspberry Pi Pico. Of course, we're using as well 8 resistors of 330 ohms, and well, that are the current limiting resistors. Well, let me connect this so you can see the binary counting. There you go. So it's counting from 0 to 255, as I mentioned before. We are using 8 ports of the Raspberry Pi Pico. There are the GP0, GP1, GP2, GP3, GP4, GP5, GP6, and finally GP7. So I'm just going to keep showing you guys the counting until we manage to get to the 255 count, and then it's going to reset to 1, and then it's going to count again. You can try out this project by yourselves. You just need to have the Raspberry Pi Pico, the 8 LEDs and the 8 resistors. You have to keep in mind that you have to connect the GND from the Raspberry Pi Pico to the breadboard, so we have common GNDs. It's almost there. One more. There you go. Well, that's everything for today. Thank you so much for watching this video.